Hello, welcome to Animal Audit Corner. This week, last night I was supposed to do a story. I did a story on relatable Reese and Club Brain Frog, but I had to switch it over to today because I messed up yesterday. Of course, I have today Growing Up in Scientology's Aaron Smith Levin and Reliable Reese, along with Club Brain Frog, for this week's story. Of course, you know me for all the characters in the SPTV world, in the anti-Scientology world, including some other cult figures like Jehovah's Witnesses and his creator and their creator. But this week I'm bringing you all of Scientology's story like I usually do. Excuse me. In Growing Up in Scientology, Aaron Smith Levin, who is recognized for this latest story and its key. When he did this story on the NAACP yesterday, and it was worth telling. He has everyone taken notice about Scientology's tactics on the groups of people that show up on account of Scientology. Aaron's knowledge about the cult's newest disposition on another organization, Scientology's current act, has got the NAACP upside down. They are notorious for being, what's the word I'm looking for? Deceitful. Okay. David Miscavige and Osa are known to have people in their back of their pockets. It can be almost anyone. It can be almost anyone. The NAACP are making a big mistake by going along with Scientology and their business practices. Who would figure it would be them? Because, they're noted for actually standing up for every single person, but they made a huge mistake in defending. Aaron Smith Levin knows firsthand when it comes to all of Scientology's operation, their business. They would have a fundraiser that would squeeze money out of members even when they can't afford to donate. Half the money goes to Miscavige, and the other half would go to Offshore's account, even though they do have accounts here in the United States. They have the a tendency to hide their money as well. Then they would use the money to pay political elections and to non-profit organizations. They would hand out their dining area of their buildings for banquets to nonprofit organization for free and claim that they are donated their time when they really actually didn't, because all they had to do is just give them that free bank hall and then make it look like they're doing something when in reality they're not. And when they have a dining area, then Scientology would have slave labor cook and serve everyone that's in the dining area. Some people are aware of this and some aren't. Now, when Tom Cruise is having a function of sometimes he would actually use the free slave labor. So it can be any organization. So that's what they do. They give out their banquet halls or dining areas to these nonprofit organizations for free. And they can turn around and say, hey, we donate our times to so and so and so and so to their members when even though that it was not true. Aaron knows firsthand on what they do since he was one of their slave laborers from the age of 12 through 26. He just stopped working there altogether with his wife. They both left Scientology and had their family. So he knows firsthand what they do. He didn't want his kids to have anything to do with. One of their recipients would be the NAACP and their Reverend Zeb Erickson. Hope I say it right. Who actually used Scientology's banquet hall and sent out a notice to everybody who, back when Aaron was running for city council, Arkins had teared into Aaron and interrupted him while he was at why he cut him off and started to defend the cult is because they paid the NAACP to build Martin Luther King Hall. So they would be in the back of Scientology. And they didn't even question. They questioned them. They just said, thank you, and went off their merry way. Of course, when somebody gets something, they would not question their motive. They think they would be nice, but oh no, some of them have agendas. Some of them don't. I can give credit to that. But They did not question Scientology. They just said thank you. And they probably thought that they did it out of the kindness of their heart, but no, they didn't. They want to hide the fact that they are a human trafficking, money laundering cult who is into child and elderly abuse. Now, here is a clip I found when Zeb was mouthing off to Aaron Smith Levin while saying his speech. And this is during his city council election where they would elect a board member to the city council. Here it is.
Completely. Scientology is a core issue in this campaign. Well, let's not talk about the division. Can I finish my thought? Can you not talk about the division?
See, here we go.
It's one of the core issues of my campaign, and I haven't mentioned it once tonight.
I know, and I appreciate it.
Excuse
That's
me.
right. It's a core issue of my campaign, and I haven't mentioned it once tonight, which, by the way, this was the end of a 2-hour candidate forum, and the president of the NAACP says, thank you. And I appreciate that. So basically what it comes down to is the NAACP does not allow any.
And there it was. So, of course, he had to actually sit there and listen to him go off. Is that fair? No. Would we all like it if someone cuts us off during a speech? No one does. So when anyone speaks out against Scientology, David Miscavige would send anyone to rip into them like Zib did with Aaron when he was saying his speech. That's their usual tactic. They do something for somebody. In exchange, they would then all in all, Aaron Smith Levin, who is recognized for this latest story, and it's the NAACP. Overall, he knows firsthand that when it comes to all of Scientology's operation, their business practice are always corrupt. Then nevertheless, when anyone speaks out against Scientology, David Miscavige sends anyone to rip into them, like Zeb did when Aaron was saying his speech. But finally, when Aaron Smith Levin speaks on YouTube, people would listen to what he has to say about Scientology. And in conclusion, at the end, Scientology will never have the last word again. Now, I have a brand new person that I want to have on my channel. Now, I want to get to every single person in the SPTV community and the and the people who were never in Scientology story in this clip. Now, and this one is Reliable Reese. Reliable Reese is back, and she is ready to be open about her entire life to the world. With her original greeting, she is the most loving person who has the most perfect greeting for everyone. Of course, I wish I had that clip. I don't know why I didn't think of using it, but maybe another time I will. Where she would be known for having such a huge heart, and all of the former Scientologists would know it. Oh, geez. I forgot his name. Aaron Smith Levinwood. Silver. Oh, boy. I wish I wrote it down, but I didn't, of course. And Scientology won't have anything on her now that she's gone permanently from their organization. But she has a life outside of Scientology, and now she would be known for having a screen name on YouTube, which is Reliable Reese. That's what she would be best. Reese always have something to say, and it's all kind words, and that's probably why she is on the SPTV board. Now, did she leave? I don't think so, because I know Aaron Smith Levin left. No, he's the president. I know that Serge left. And who else left? Liz left. And I think Natalie and Reese is still on the board of the SPTV Foundation. She wants to know what's out comes her former Scientologist world. So she wrote on an obituary to see what it looks like when she is not around, which is so different. Do I want to do it? I don't know. But you know what? You do you. Okay. She would start to talk about her life in I start to talk about her life in Scientology. She just didn't. I just actually first started to assume, but she was actually talking about her ailments, and I used that piece to actually talk about Scientology and her life out of Scientology. She would spend her rest of her life out of Scientology, basically. Now, she is seeing a regular doctor, she would be on medication and she thinks she is doing better because of it. Things she never went before when she did before when she was in Scientology, because that organization didn't let her or anyone else go to the doctor. They all thought if you audit whatever it is you have, it will go away. And into today, David Miscavige would also tell them to audit any problem they have and it will go away, which is never true. I mean, Scientology has the tendency of talking out of their asses. They all thought if you audit anything that ails you, then you pretty much would be fine, which is bogus and not even close to the truth. They're not doctors. Some things she never went before when she was in Scientology, because that organization didn't, of course, didn't let her or anyone else go to. Once Reese got out of Scientology, she is taking better care of herself now. She would be a whole new person today. Other than her being diabetic, well, she talked about it, and of course, she has no real health problems. Her A1C's down to 5.9 with 6 months, and this is all because she is seeing a doctor, where in the past she didn't because of Scientology. Because they do not let people go to emergency rooms, go see a doctor. They think if you audit everything away, everything will get better. Well, then you know what? They are not doctors. When she was in, she saw her because of all her pains. The doctor pretty much made her better. Scientology did it. They claimed if you audit the whatever pain you have, you'll be fine. No. That does. Where everyone in Scientology is being kept from seeing any doctor, and some of them then died because of what it is they had killed them. Basically, just because they just kept everybody from going to the doctor, and some of them got injured, some of them. Look in the case of Kirstie Alley. She had cancer, and they didn't let her go to the doctor. They told her to audit her cancer away, and by the time she got to the doctor, a real doctor, her cancer spread, and she winded up being it wound up being stage 4 cancer. And then at the choice, she never had this chance due to Scientology. Kirstie Alley, she died because of Scientology's carelessness. Reese had gone to the doctors and she is better because she's out of Scientology, and she didn't do what Kirstie Alley did. And this is while Kirstie Alley was in Scientology, and she was still in it by the time she died. I mean, it's tragic, and Scientology had something to do with it. According to Aaron Smith Levin, who started the SPTV movement, the highest death in Scientology is cancer. She is out of Scientology she is out of Scientology and out of danger. But Allie wasn't. And she is so grateful that she didn't have cancer, and she is really hopeful. And of course, Scientology killed Kirstie Alley because she thought you can audit the cancer away and that they're superheroes. No one's a superhero. The real heroes are the good police officers who are not behind Scientology's pocket, like the LAPD, half of them. Not all of them, half of them. And in Clearwater, Florida, half of them are good. The other half isn't. But in general, police officers are there to serve the public. Those guys are the real heroes, even though some of them don't want to even think that. At the same time, she had been talking to people in her community and feels good about it. And of course, when you're out of Scientology, you just have this whole brand new life. She has been in contact with Liz. Which Liz? I don't know. Was it Liz Gale? Probably. Was it Liz Ferris? I don't know. There are 2 Liz's in there somewhere. Reese was talking to everybody online, and she is doing pretty much she's doing good. And she loves, by the way, she was going on her show, Relatable Reese. She was given the most perfect grade. And it was due to the fact that she stood up to Scientology one day and left. So she was definitely the one standing tall against that organization. So guess what, everybody? We're going to take back their title song, take their title song away from them, which is We Stand Tall, and use it. I'm going to use it to can't always save the world, and put it in the platform with everybody who is out of Scientology and is standing up to them like Aaron Smith Levin is when he left. Testing is standing tall and standing up to Scientology when they start using bully tactics on the protesters. Now, guess what? And now Audit LA, she is one of the heroes and is standing tall against Janet Wheeling, even though they didn't see her as much, and saying, you're not going to sit there any longer. And of course, she wasn't there and they were worried about her, and it was because she has a life outside of Scientology that she is better about herself. She's completely healed. Well, because she is going to the doctors, where everybody in Scientology isn't. And that is just so tragic. Now she is seeing a regular doctor. She wouldn't be on medication. She would be on medication, and she is doing much better that she's out of that organization altogether. Tough break, Scientology. Other than her being, well, all in all, overall, she is grateful that she didn't have cancer, and she is hoping nothing is wrong with her health. And she is just wonderful with the way she's greeting people when she's out of Scientology. And the person that she is, she seems like a warm-hearted person. And sometimes people just are picking on her, which is not right. Of course, we're not going to name any names because we don't want to start any fights either. So let's just all get along at the end. Then in conclusion, she's continuing to do well for herself, and it's all due because she is out of Scientology. Now, unfortunately, there are people in Scientology who's trying to get out but have a hard time. And of course, Mark and Claire Hadley have billboards all around the neighborhood where Scientologists are. And some of them have the will to just call them. And because of that, they're shrinking even more. So, if you want to have a billboard on top of your businesses, just call Mark and Claire Hadley at the Aftermath Foundation. It'll be in all my descriptions at the comments below or the information below. So after I get this edited, you will You will see it. So, okay. And plus, I also have informations on mental health care and primary care. Since I'm an animals rights activist, I also have pet care along with human care. And yes, I am trying to find stories on animal abuse when it comes to Scientology, and they do abuse animals. They practically kill them. Like the case where Zappel from the Los Angeles Times had, where they killed his dog because of the praises he's got and how he came out with the story. They just didn't like the fact that they were criminals and the truth came out. And the truth even came out even more when the internet came around. So, everybody, if you have a secret, don't take it on the internet. Or if you have anything that's on the internet that you don't want people to find, then don't put it on the internet because people can find it easily. Yesterday, people were able to have materials out there and not have people find out about them. Like, let me see, the recent stories about the Vatican and what else? And other organizations that didn't want their secrets to come out is out. So it's a whole nother story because the internet was there and everyone's secrets came out. Now I'm going on to my next story, and it's about Club Brain Frog. 2 days ago, Club Brain Frog had a great day when she was in the studio with her stuffed animals. I mean, she seemed like she did. Is she still in pain due to the accident she had at the San Francisco Test Center? Well, let's find out. She didn't even want to have a stream 31 hours ago because she just didn't feel up to it. But she did fine. And she's well known for her gothic and her black outfit, which black I don't mind because guess what? It doesn't stain. So I don't mind wearing black either. Along with her makeup, which she would always be known for, she would be her authentic self. She never tries to be something she's not. No one should. Club Brain Fog is always noticed when she is at her best, when she has her cell phone camera on pointing towards the Scientologist and Scientology as a whole. She is so great when she is at her best, and that is all the time. Even though she hurt herself at the test center when that sandwich board fell on her. I wanted to have the clip, but of course I showed it 2 other times before, so since I couldn't find it, I thought, "You know what? Maybe people saw it enough." But the she says she's getting better, but check on go on her live and give her give her your well wishes, because I think she would really feel good about it. I would. Yesterday she was in her studio and she looked like she was doing okay to me. I mean, and then she spelled her heart out, but she thought that she wasn't her best that day and didn't want to even have a stream, but she did anyway. I mean, it's one of those days where you just don't want to do anything and you just want to just. I did say Club Blaring Frog, Mr. Green Glass, but yeah, I mean, if people said that, it's not really. I got to call the company and ask how to use this chat. Anyhow, but even though she thought that she wasn't too good, she was smiling almost all through her stream, but she also had a half smile. I mean, she I mean, yeah, maybe she's one of those people that don't want to go see a doctor where she should, but you know what? Some people just don't like to go to doctors, and that's the truth. But she managed to do her best on her live, and she's pretty much good while Brain Fog did her live. I mean, I think she did pretty great on her live yesterday, even though she seemed like she was in pain. I'm sorry to tell you, but I don't know. Is she one of those people that don't want to go see a doctor? I don't know, but she does go see a chiropractor. She did mention that. But it sounds like that her ankle was still in pain from that. She would walk a little bit, then she would be a little bit itchy. Of course, that means it's pretty much healing if it itches. I've had injuries and scabs that were like scraped, and usually when it itches, it's a good sign that it's healing. I'm no doctor. I can assure you that, but sometimes cases like those, you feel an itch and it means it's healing. But you know what? For something serious like that, people should just go. But she said when she started to walk again, she would be in pain, but she would sit down and the pain would get better. But then when she walks again, she started to feel the pain again. But yeah, you know what? If I saw her in person, I would just tell her to go see a doctor. But she does see a chiropractor. I'll give her credit for that. I think chiropractors are great. Being hopeful that she is going to get better. So she was being real hopeful about her ankle, but I would say, you know what? I would believe her, but at the same time, I would think, you know what? She would have to go see a doctor for that. So, so it's something else when some people don't want to even bother to go see a doctor. Okay. And she would be in pain due to Scientology being so careless. I mean, they don't want to acknowledge the fact that people get injured by them, including their members. And they just don't care. When she walked up to the test center to tell them, hey, your sandwich board fell on my ankle, they got all cocky with her. And the lady who told her to have a nice day, she was being cocky. I mean, of course, at the same time, there would be brainwashed, so that would give anyone a mixed reaction. So, yeah, they were being cocky. They just didn't care. Her story looks like this is going to be a short on one to wrap it up with Club Brain Frog, even though yesterday I had problem getting on to my show. Of course, nobody wants to hear anyone's problem, but then I'm like, oh my God, I'm having problems just the wheel with the whole wheel, and it just stopped right in the middle of my story on Club Brain Frog. So I had to start all over again. We are going to wrap it up with Club Brain Frog. Even though she did want to have her stream 31 hours ago, she had one anyway. But you know what? She's courageous enough to do it. I mean, yeah, anyone would have the days where they don't want to just be bothered with. They just want to be left alone or don't want to have a stream if they're a YouTuber. They just want to go off on their own. Yesterday when I got caught in the middle, I was like, oh no, I don't want to bother with this. I'll do it again tomorrow. And so I did. I deleted my last one and started over again because I just didn't want to deal with it right away. So I just pretty much saved all the stories for today. But she managed to do her best on her live, and she pretty much did good while Brain Frog did her live. She did the best she can, and we should give her a thumbs up anyhow. Overall, she was walking a little bit. That's what she said the other day, but then would be a little bit itchy, but she would walk a bit when her pain was gone. Yeah, well, I think she should still see a doctor at the end, and that itching is a good sign me it is healing. But then all in all, even though her foot was in pain, after she would walk for a while, then she would be hopeful. Well, eventually, yes, things like that would get better. Even with a sprain, where I had a sprained ankle, and yeah, I didn't see a doctor, but I put ice on it, and then it was fine. I felt better. So, and I did see a doctor. He told me to actually put ice on it, and that's what he said. But yesterday, back in the 80s, when you sprained your ankle, you would go see a doctor. But today, they tell you to actually put an ace bandage on it and put ice on it. So pretty much it would be a little bit different today. Now, usually they do have you elevate your foot, but it's a little different from yesterday. In conclusion, she is really hopeful it will get better. Of course, I'm repeating myself. That's silly. So, and it looks like the case with Aaron Smith Levins getting arrested due to the fact that a Scientologist said he couldn't breathe because Aaron Smith Levin used the chalk on him, and this is all over chalk. Yeah, it was made of cornstarch, and it didn't make a smoke, but he said he was trying to breathe, and Farrell Cheryl said that he still had his mask on when he said it. And I was in shock. I'm like, what? I mean, and she said if he was trying to breathe, he would pretty much have his mask off. I agree to that because I have a mild case of asthma. I could breathe now, but when it came in, I couldn't breathe. Of course, I called for help and I got taken to the hospital, but I have a mild case of asthma. And if something like that happened, I wouldn't have a mask on to actually try and breathe. But yeah, she just said that he had his mask on, which is ridiculous. If somebody was trying to breathe, they wouldn't have a mask on. They would take it off. But apparently I went to a doctor one day, and apparently I was tested, and I was told that I had asthma since I was a young kid, and of course, it wasn't like I seemed to have it. But today, all of today's equipment would just tell you otherwise. So it's different now than it was in the 70s, 80s, and maybe it started improving in the 90s, but now their equipment would tell you anything. And so it looked like that went away. Of course, those Scientologists started dumping water on the protesters on public property. It would be their fault. They should have been arrested, not Aaron. And of course, the stupid police officer who arrested him wasn't thinking. Half the Clearwater Police Department is in Scientology's back pocket, but the other half are the real heroes because they would have They would agree with the protesters. At least half of them are agreeing with the protesters. So it all in all, it looks like it went away. Usually with Scientology, they just dismiss the case, like the ones in Los Angeles. They dismissed the case with Michael, with Aaron, again in Los Angeles. Who else? With Serge, I think he had it. Yeah. And Confident Chris, even though they paid someone to beat him up. They did not look into who actually beat him up. Well, they did. It was the homeless guy that Chris recognized. But they did cuff him. The police officer did cuff him and then uncuffed him. I think they were just putting on a show. They were going along with Scientology. They are the most dangerous people. And David Miscavige practically corrupted Tom Cruise. Because you heard it all on the media. When he got into a little tiff with Matt Lauder, then he was being obnoxious to a journalist in 60 Minutes Australia. Then he got caught screaming at his crew right in the media. And as you know, his movies, because of those incidents, will go from number 1, and then they dropped to number 10 and number 8. Will he improve? You know what? I don't know. He is a brilliant actor, but at the same time, being in Scientology corrupted him big time. Now, with Laura FM, you know, Scientology did it. So, give her well wishes and tell her it's going to be okay. And you guys go on to that hate site, give it a thumbs down, not up, down, and tell them this is unacceptable and don't subscribe. And then at the end, Laura pretty much will do okay. I mean, she seems like a wonderful person, but mess with her, that's it. She'll come down hard on you. But so, and then go to Laura's channel, give her a thumbs up. Let her know that you support her 100%. And also, give Liz Ferris her well wishes with her dad to continue to fight for her father. I mean, she really loves her dad. Oh my gosh. This is accidentally making me tear up, and I didn't realize that. I'm starting to tear up. I don't know if it's the dust or I'm not realizing that I'm in tears because of the stories that I'm telling at the moment. Something else. It's horrible that the world has to be like this sometimes. And sometimes we're just living in a tragic world, and you would pretty much see it more on YouTube than you would on the news. But then all in all, people will just pick themselves up at the end and just brush themselves off. Okay, everyone. I will be back tomorrow. So hit the like, press subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow.